Chat, here we go. It's the beginning of the road to 100,000 YouTube subscribers Invitational. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the format of and why we called it the road to 100,000. If you guys know and you've been following on YouTube recently, we have been trying to get to 100,000 before the end of the year. This is going to be a tournament to try and supercharge that. So if you have not checked if you're subscribed, maybe check now and get us one step closer because we're doing our best. I say we as if it's a full team. It's just me over here doing my best to give you guys the highest level Rocket League competitive content you could ask for. Now, what is the actual tournament that they're playing in? This is a pool play of 4 players from EU. We also have a North American tournament that is going to seed a gauntlet. Something that you've maybe seen before. Big tournaments that have done something like this is probably number one biggest is Salt Mine. Back in the day, 8 players played in the pool play into a seeded gauntlet. But this is going to be only 4. But not only is it going to be these 4 players, which is Moxy and dralii, of course, who you see in front of you, but also Atto and Nas. There is going to be a closed qualifier that will allow one player to join into the gauntlet at the very bottom with a chance to run it all the way to the top and get the win. It's a $1,500 tournament per region, so $1,500 on the line for these players in EU and another $1,500 over in North America, which has First Killer, Jack, Chronic, and Diaz as the 4 that will play in the pool play to set up the gauntlet. So today we get ourselves into the first of 3 matches with Moxy of France against dralii of Morocco. A 1v1 that has apparently historically favored dralii. What a save. The backflip save to somehow keep that out of the net. Right now, these guys have done a favor for me by not really hitting any too crazy goals to start this game. It's only a 1-0 lead for Moxy. They knew I needed a minute or 2 to intro the tournament and intro the match. But dralii gonna have to get going soon if he wants to try and stay in this game. Of course, I've never seen a game end as low scoring as this, so I'm sure as soon as we're headed back to kickoffs, we can see a flurry of goals. Moxy just trying to hold on to this possession off the wall, aggressively taking it out to the midfield, which means there's really no chance to score it, but he's just been trying to play a bit of keep away and make sure as long as he's in possession that eventually he'll get this goal. This is one of the more hard-earned goals in ones, and finally he will get it. dralii, maybe getting a bit impatient after multiple minutes, comes all the way into the attacking corner as Moxy sets up off the side wall and he gets a long shot for the second goal of the game. dralii could really afford to have a good kickoff possession here to get his offense started, and even though he didn't score on the first attempt, he did keep Moxy pinned back. dralii went to the ceiling to avoid Moxy. That pinch was slightly off target, but while he had the right idea to make sure Moxy's early challenge didn't intercept, he got demoed in the process, and now Moxy, a fake flick, dralii up in the air, soft save, another fake from Moxy to try and get dralii to panic and flip the ball out of his control, but dralii stayed patient. Moxy never stops looking for those demos though, and that was not it. That was absolutely not it from Moxy, who is rocking a ttv.moxy. In case you guys didn't already know, he streamed. I feel like everybody in his lobbies has to know he's already streaming. I don't know why his name is ttv_moxy_, but he's out there picking up every individual player he plays against who doesn't already know he streams, and that is a full content grinder. Right now up 2-1, and this is going to be a mistake from dralii. It comes off the kickoff, but sometimes you really have to just do your best to play on 0 boost. He goes all the way back to the back corner, allowing Moxy a full dribble setup. And that flick is going to be one that's really tough to stop. A 3-1 lead. dralii missing a backflip challenge. This feels like a game fully dominated by Moxy, but it really isn't too much so, because it's such a low-scoring affair, if dralii cleans up the kickoff, we all know how his offense can be. All of a sudden, this game could be looking very close. In fact, it's just going to be a dralii catch that gets the outplay as he searches for different ways to get past Moxy's defense. He just kind of surprised him here. It seemed like Moxy thought dralii was going to play off the bounce, clean bounce on the ground, and try and intercept off that, but dralii instead caught the ball, took it away, missed wave dash kickoff though. dralii can't really afford to have that, but he still has a minute. dralii needs to turn back on this play as soon as he can. Moxy actually took to the skies to not allow dralii to get to him, and has landed short of the nets. Maybe got just a little bit too greedy, but as I say that, dralii had no boost to follow up that heavy touch. Now Moxy ceiling heights, waiting till all the way on the ground. dralii has been doing a great job defending. He's actually made a couple spectacular stops. The problem is he has to do more than just that, and he wants to go next. He doesn't even want to wait 30 seconds, so we will end game number 1 as Moxy takes an early series lead in the road to 100,000 Invitational. A straight kickoff to start game number 2. Something that could lead to another midfield play. Somebody in chat guessed that the first goal would take a while to be scored, but it's only going to take 6 seconds. As dralii does find a way to convert on the kickoff. Moxy staying grounded, thought he could get away with dropping that ball and working for a 50 without bringing his wheels off the ground, but he was wrong about that. As he changed some dashes to recover off of another kickoff win from dralii. He has a reset. Moxy's done a good job staying in a position where he can cover both the fake and the use of the flip. dralii this time will go low and wave dash into the bottom right. So this is the kind of offense we're used to seeing from dralii and the effectiveness he has when he does win kickoffs, but the kickoff wins were rare in game number 1. dralii, a ball cam dribble into another kickoff goal to build himself a 3-goal lead in 30 seconds. What I'm talking about here with dralii is something that we don't really see from a ton of people, and I wanted to say this, you know, during the Mass Duelist, but of course I can't because I can't be leaking anything, as Moxy will take advantage of dralii's misstep on the way to midfield for the kickoff. But Atto is pretty much one of the only ones I see every time going for the ball cam on dribbles. Atto pretty much does almost the entire dribble with the ball cam on. Even if it doesn't really necessarily make sense to give him a better camera, he doesn't seem to be affected by keeping it on. And he was doing that a ton under his codename Esper in the Mass Duelist. But dralii doing it a little bit here as well. His was very intentional to make sure he kept an angle on Moxy. And that is, of course, one of the benefits. In fact, I think the only time I've really seen Atto pull out of it is when he actually has a worse camera angle because his ball cam is on and he wants to turn it off so he can get a better look. dralii, little ground pinch. I think all 4 goals have come within 10 seconds of the kickoff for dralii. He has done a better job of earning first possessions and converting them in this game number 2. Moxy zap dashing into the back corner. Got a smooth catch, but didn't really feel like he would be able to create anything in time, so instead just waited on the ground. What a little wave dash cuts from Moxy. He is down to play this ground game around the net all day, and he surprises dralii there. Even though the first touch wasn't on target, it's such a low-speed play that he really has no trouble at all getting back. And oh, dralii just barely made that save. It actually might be better, though, because he didn't put it into the corner that Moxy was ready for. Instead, he dropped it into his own back corner. Yeah, it worked out way better. So it's actually favorable that he saved it off the post and into a corner he could control a little bit better than Moxy. Moxy's saving off the crossbar, and yeah, dralii knew not even to think about trying to finish that because the recovery from Moxy in and out of the net is going to be much faster than dralii could stuff. And Moxy to his favorite position. Every midfield sequence has resulted in a Moxy goal. It's only been dralii able to score after winning a kickoff possession. Moxy doing a good job of forcing the game to be played his way whenever he has the opportunity. dralii had a chance for a quick counterattack after Moxy was aggressive on the kickoff. This is still all a part of dralii's first possession, but even scoring here would show that he has got a little bit more hope for some midfield plays. The difference this time is he had Moxy start from the very beginning, and that's because he had such a good advantage to start the kickoff, and he never relented it. I would still say that dralii needs to find ways to stop Moxy when he doesn't win kickoffs. And that's actually a pretty impressive save. Moxy sending it soaring above his net, and there's a challenge. I think this is what we need to see from dralii a little bit more, because so far he'd been backing off, grabbing 100 boost, letting Moxy get these setups. dralii should rely on his speed, or can rely on his speed if he wants to. Stand on ball with very little boost, expecting that pitch from Moxy. Just lets him launch it into his control. That first touch is not it. What can dralii do to make it worthwhile? Not much, as he will be forced to reset here. And Moxy chasing him down in the corner. Even though he didn't get the demo, he does force dralii all the way to the back wall, where he can now control possession. And it looked like he was almost trying to bait dralii in front of the net there and then flick it over the top of him. Moxy will eventually earn his goal off of his high flick. dralii went up to try and catch it, but landing with no boost, did not recover. dralii not going to the kickoff. Ooh, just barely not able to score. But we'll get to start another possession again. Moxy, I have seen quite a bit of wall dashing from him. A lot more than I'm used to seeing. Such an interesting air roll from dralii to get the shot. It almost seemed like he lost it here for a moment. But he got one more touch right before he set up the flip to maybe throw Moxy off. Get the ball slightly more out ahead. 7-5. He has been able to hold off the Moxy comeback so far. I think Moxy tied it at 4-4, but dralii has since retaken the lead and kept it. I like this from dralii. The early backflip challenge, not allowing Moxy to get the carry. Once he's been holding the carry for 1 or 2 seconds, he becomes almost impossible to stop. It's definitely not a position you want to put yourself in against him multiple times in a game if you can get away from it. Right now, 0 boost for dralii. Ball floating. Can he find a way to get back in time? Moxy does just catch and cut. Ball never hits the ground, as Moxy does his best to punish dralii on low boost. Moxy winning another crucial kickoff into the ceiling for the reset, and uses it to tie the game with 51 seconds left to go. dralii seemed like he thought about a ceiling challenge, but Moxy did a good job of bringing it out away from the side wall to a position where dralii has a really tough ceiling challenge angle. He elected to fall back down to the ground, and that ends up favoring Moxy, who has another kickoff position in his favor. Those flicks are so good, even on little boost. We watched the whole thing from dralii POV. You can see it again from Moxy's, but it does feel helpless. There's no way dralii could turn on the ball at the midfield without getting beat. So he sets up in a shadow, and it just gets perfectly placed top left, which is the specialty for Moxy. Delay kickoff from dralii. Getting cheeky here with 40 seconds left to go. It's actually, a ton of time with how much the scoring has increased here in game number 2. 8-8 with 35 seconds left to go. And we could end up getting to double digits at this rate for both players. Moxy, possession in the back corner. Dralii, the backflip challenge before Moxy can really possess the ball. Now a pass to himself off the sidewall. He's trying to play it patient and let Moxy waste as much boost as possible while he hovers around, but he just lost the boost battle. In fact, Moxy should have the counterattack. Wait a second. Moxy did not put that on target. We weren't watching his POV. I don't know if he could have just shot it directly on, but he decided to rush it and ended up missing wide. Now dralii the other way. 22 boost still left over. The flip is perfectly placed, and 0 seconds for dralii as he takes game number 2. Dralii floating through the air, falls so far down, and then uses the tail end of his car in order to pop that ball in. And that's what gets Moxy in too deep in net. And soaring past the play, dralii will send us to game 3 equal. Game number 3. Moxy and dralii. Dralii has started faking some kickoffs ever since game number 2, I would say, as a way to deal with what was a ton of kickoff possession losses. And he got what he wanted here, which is a possession in his back corner, but he's not able to convert on it. Using every last bit of boost in the air is always a bit of a risk. You'll see both ones players try and hold on to about 20 or so as they come down to the ground to make a play. Sometimes that means they have to land way short of the net, and they know that that's just the trade-off they have to make for keeping some boost. There's also no question that when you are around your nets and you're playing against Moxy, you need to be prepared for him to try and chase down as many demos as possible. dralii setting this one up to the back wall as Moxy followed him to the midfield for the 100, which means he could potentially punish him for that, but not able to. And a good challenge from Moxy to take the ball away. He's going to try and find a way to dish this on target. Not an easy first touch to set this all up, but he got dralii up in the air and he does score. Credit to Moxy for finding a way to make a good possession out of what is often, I think dralii maybe tried to jump off of the top of the net there, but making a good possession of a ball that's headed into your opponent's corner is hard to do. Oftentimes you lose all available angles and you end up having to just give away the ball and set up shadowed slightly out of the corner as a way to, you know, keep the possession going. But Moxy found a way to get a touch off the back wall that enabled him an angle to make a play, and he ends up converting on it. Now dralii, kickoff goal 3-1 as Moxy launches a flick from the midfield. dralii Psycho sends it back there. And the boost management for dralii has seemed to be an issue so far, whether that's because Moxy's doing a good job of starving him out, or if dralii just needs to be a bit more careful. Anytime he's been low, Moxy's been able to either just get the beat or get the demo. Both these guys doing a lot of wall dashing, though. We've seen that just rise and rise and rise over the past few months in prominence. Moxy, another missed hook shot. I don't know what's going on with him. We saw a massively missed hook shot earlier, and again, he just gets absolutely nothing on the ball. dralii waited so long to get to his flick. I think you have to shoot that from a little bit farther out if you want to score from it. He's going to try and take Moxy's pass for a counterattack goal, but Moxy still makes a save. I think he was going for a demo there as he drove past the ball. Anytime he sees dralii low, it looks like even in a defensive position, he just wants to take advantage of that by demoing a player. I mean, it's never easier to demo somebody than when they have no boost. They become very predictable in where they will be. And especially in ones, it's pretty much impossible for a connected demo to be something that isn't favorable for you. occasionally in other game modes, maybe chasing down a demo can be the wrong play. Moxy playing a bit of keep away, forces him to go above the crossbar. And he'll reset again after his demo. Air dribble bump. Dralii just barely doesn't get the save. Got around the bump, but ends up sending it into the crossbar. I want to see how he got around this bump again. He jumped away and then used his front flip to recover back to where he wanted to make the save. But it just barely wasn't enough. Moxy, a zippy wave dash. Dralii, first touch reset and a fake will end up being a goal. The ball was perfectly on target. What a setup. That is the last time Dralii touches it. But you can see from Moxy's POV a very threatening shot headed to the other side of the net. And you basically need to always set up your aerials in a way that both the fake and the flip are on target. Defenders have become far too good to ever get beat by only one of the options. Dralii bumps. Wave dash recovery, has his 100 boost now, taking this to the air away from Moxy, went all the way to the ceiling as he saw Moxy pre-jumping, and then prioritize getting to that other corner boost first. So pull both boosts out, yourself and the defenders, but know that you're going to be able to reset and your defender will not. Dralii has been able to keep this possession going. Moxy has recognized a few near post shots and decides to stay there on this defensive stand, and he is rewarded with a save, potentially a game-saving save, as there's now 45 seconds left to go. Finally, a Moxy hookshot connects instead of it being a massive whiff. He does put a ton of power on the ball. Dralii on 0. This is where he's been punished just about every time. I don't think he had midfield boost to reset. Moxy denied this time. With 30 seconds left to go, Dralii may be forced to make something happen on low boost as Moxy turns back on the ball, and he's so good at recognizing when he has that advantage and going for, you know, maybe unorthodox plays, maybe riskier plays. But a 5-3 lead. As Moxy doesn't even touch this towards the net. A very confusing play. Dralii is just going to boom it across the field. It felt like Moxy could have put it on net, but I guess he felt like if he did that, he would have given possession away. So instead, he tried to hold on to possession and waste out the rest of the time, but that was not going to be possible. So Dralii, one last kickoff opportunity. He's into the corner with boost, so Moxy is on the ball, but he does not have the kind of boost to stop Dralii. If he gets a clean catch here, keeps ball cam on, and has it up the side wall. Moxy takes it away. Has boost to stop him now, and there it will hit ground. And Moxy will take a 2-1 lead in this best of 5. Game number 4. Talk versus Mock when? Talk versus Mock Feer commentary. I think the Mock has a little bit more 1v1 experience than the Talk. The French guys call him that a lot? Ah, okay. Well, the Mock has read the fake kickoff, or I shouldn't even say fake, has read the half-flip kickoff for the first time, it feels like, in this match, and has taken the ball into his back corner. Dralii, though, probably still going to come out the better of it because Moxy really didn't get an effective shot, and now it's an air dribble bump, and Moxy got just enough, a pool shot save. Dralii dashing, look at how quick he plays this. No, but he tapped it too much. You could see he was trying to rush it back to net. I mean, he's just doing so much right now. I can't keep up. I can't keep up with commentary. Words are not fast enough for everything that Dralii is doing right now. But such a great pop with his flip to get what I believe was maybe another reset, but he doesn't end up using anything. He just 50s the ball and drops it in. Seemed to shake off his own mistake pretty quickly after he dropped the whoops. Dralii, long shot lacking a bit of power, and he thought Moxy might get greedy and try and save it too much on the goal line. So he went for a 50 in there. Moxy stops it at first. Dralii trying to keep this a bit closer to the sidewall where he could maybe control it. But this has been the answer for Dralii so far. Will Moxy adjust? Dralii never leaving the play. This is what I was saying earlier. Moxy's just too good if you let him get his dribble going. And Moxy has been trying to adjust with drops into low 50s. That looks like what he tried there. Saw Dralii coming, tried to drop the ball low enough to win the low 50, but could not. So now he's going to go to old reliable after winning this kickoff. Moxy going to try and take this back into his own half. Dralii gets to attack with speed, though, to make him uncomfortable, and has been able to steal the ball away. Moxy's done good. Anytime he's had a chance to have boost and challenge early on a Dralii air dribble from the wall, he has been there. He knows better than to let Dralii go to work. Dralii going to have to earn his right to play in the air. Just like Moxy should have to earn his right to get to play on the ground, because he is just way too good there. He's going to pop both of these too high as Dralii sends it back to the midfield, and Moxy will reset with 100. Now Moxy going to attack in the air. Dralii pre-jumped it and stopped the first and was able to cut off the angle for the second. Dralii taking this low air dribble away. So many times these guys have prioritized playing quickly. It's led to putting the ball slightly off target. Oh my goodness, Moxy. Oh my goodness, it's not a goal! Absolute robbery. Absolute robbery of one of the best flicks I've ever seen. Dralii says not even close and gets the save and stays up 2. That was brutal. Moxy absolutely ripped it 3/4 field, but was not rewarded. He will get his goal now. Moxy power slide cutting this to the net in attempts to prevent Dralii from getting boost, but maybe got a bit greedy with that, as Dralii had a clean possession, but a mistaken drop of the dribble. Now it's glued to the ground. It's going to cost him all this boost he has just to get the ball up in the air in any sort of favorable position. Oh, but then Moxy might just give him a free setup for no cost, which is always nice. Not often your opponent is so kind. I guess Moxy was maybe hoping for a roll up the back wall, but instead he just lobbed it out to the perfect position for Dralii. And you could tell a bit of frustration, because, I mean, Moxy definitely could have still stopped that, but just panicking leads to the Dralii soft touch goal. Moxy, a little ball cam on dribble as well into an air dribble bump, or what seemed like it could be an air dribble bump. Dralii did a good job of not allowing us to find out by challenging early enough. These two vying for control of the ball. That boost spawns a moment after Dralii could have stolen it, which does lead to a Moxy possession and a Moxy goal. So if Dralii could have wasted just a moment longer, he would have driven through that corner, picked up the 100, and stayed on the ball for sure. It was only after he was on 0 that he forced himself back. Now he's going to be pushed into net. Moxy's so effective here, but Dralii off the inside wall sends it to the midfield. It's still not over, though. Moxy's out of boost, but so is Dralii, as he is able to stop the backflip flick and end the possession of Moxy with 40 seconds left to go. Will he play it safe here? He is actually going to play it super safe. He's going to waste a little bit of time. Dralii, I think famously, it wasn't on my channel, it was on Johnny's, but when there were 20-minute 1v1 matches, I don't know if you guys remember the madness when we did that, believe dralii had some of the longest time wasting we've ever seen in 1v1. But ultimately, he has not wasted enough time this time around. 14 seconds for Moxy as he tries to set up another ground play. dralii cuts off the first angle and probably did it there. Moxy having to leave the ball without any boost means he's not likely to bring this one back if he scores this one. Power slide cuts to keep it in the air. Flick to himself in the back corner, and now a clean possession. dralii decided to leave instead of cause chaos. And now with a reset, certainly dralii can force it to the ground, and we are going to be going to game 5. Game 5, dralii and Moxy. dralii bringing it back and bringing it to a moment that everybody loves to see, game 5. Now, every game does matter, not just series, because game differential will separate these guys in the pool if they happen to be ending up tied. So just bringing it back to game 5 could even be worth something for dralii, but I have a feeling he wants to finish it off as well. Moxy, though, will be the first to score. Why are they not playing defense? I mean, their first game was an incredibly low-scoring game for the first 4 minutes or so. But both of these guys have adjusted in ways to try and get the scoring going. Moxy has actually done a good job so far of sealing challenging successfully. But this time, it's a bit too much as he uses no boost after hitting the ceiling. Probably needed a little bit to get the right angle to correct for his misalignments. Moxy didn't have the recovery this time. He's been attempting saves to his backboard and then in and out of the nets. Was this one possible? Maybe if he had rolled a bit better. It's hard to say. There wasn't a ton of time to adjust, but certainly a cleaner landing than the one Moxy got could have been possible. dralii now going to start at ceiling height. Moxy can't challenge from the ceiling as he's, oh my goodness, able to get the save. dralii drops the what a save. The counterattack from Moxy will tie the game. dralii trying to get a multiple goal lead, but Moxy is able to pin it in that top corner and set it right out to himself for the long shot. And a minute in, we are back to tied. dralii catching Moxy in too deep. Moxy is sticking around on the ball more often than dralii does off kickoffs. When dralii isn't able to win them, seems like his highest priority is getting to the back corner, getting his 100 boost. Feels like if he has a boost advantage, he'll figure it out from there. Moxy much more willing to just stay on the ball and try and see if he can cause chaos. Although it will be his downfall there for dralii's third goal. dralii on 0, undercutting Moxy. That boost doesn't respond for either of them in time, but Moxy still has the big advantage as dralii's trying to work his way slowly on the ground, then eventually gets there. No boost to his name for this entire play, but he eventually gets his goal just by being a pest and dropping Moxy into an awkward position. Good recognition from dralii on where the ball needed to go, such that Moxy could not make clean movements to get a save. Oh, what is this shot from dralii? Is it gonna be? It could still be a goal. It's not going to be, but the flip reset pop into the ceiling and back down was certainly the fanciest attempt we've seen in the match so far, but nothing comes of it as he manages to dodge 2 different demo attempts, and there's a third from Moxy. Cost Moxy all his boost and he doesn't get it. So now forced to leave as dralii has adjusted and prepared more for the demo game that Moxy likes to play, especially just outside the defender's nets. Moxy counterattack for a goal. dralii took such a big swing. This arc of pads he was taking to pick up on his way back leaves the opportunity for just a straight long shot. dralii tapped this one on target. Moxy not only gets the save, but gets into his own corner first. Now we'll set up a wall to air dribble. First touch really far away from the side wall, and it's just an immediate goal. This is a great read from Moxy, who sees dralii setting up to defend him from the side wall, maybe even going to the ceiling. Moxy keeps it fairly low and about as far away as he possibly could from the side wall dralii was coming from. And you don't need any additional fancy touches if you can give it enough pace. And Moxy has tied it up once again, this time with 2 minutes left to go. Moxy, what was he thinking here? I want to see it. He thought maybe he could fake dralii out in his own goal line because he has boost to work with. He could force this into the corner, but I guess he just thought dralii would leave or something, or really didn't like what would happen if he pushed it into the corner. Instead, let it roll past him and pray that a 50 would work. dralii has now beat him on a subsequent kickoff. So a 2-goal lead for dralii. Still a lot of time. Chad is trying to guess when each next goal will be. dralii. Air dribble reset. Defended. Moxy hands away possession. And maybe threatens a ceiling challenge, or sorry, a wall challenge on this air dribble, but ultimately backs off. It's letting dralii take away time off the clock. Moxy 1-2, and most of his scoring in this game has started from his own back wall. dralii actually had a boost advantage here, but a good bit of keep away, and Moxy's within one. Delayed kickoff from dralii does not go how he would like. Moxy, with a big win, heads to the ceiling off the kickoff and ties the game with just under a minute left to go. dralii decided to wait it out on the ground. So often in ones, we see players getting resets, whether from the ceiling on the ball, and relying on that wave dash on the ground to be what outplays somebody. dralii maybe expecting that from Moxy, a kind of player who does play safe, maybe doesn't play in the air as often, but Moxy elects to use the reset and gets himself a goal, though it's been chaos, and dralii has a high bounce, one that he doesn't feel good about diving for. Instead, he wants to put Moxy on the back foot, and he gets the perfect bounce off the top of the arena. 7-6 for dralii. Moxy ball cam off with just watching dralii, waiting to see when he jumped in order to time his 50, but he did not win well enough. Moxy delaying here. Doesn't pay off for him either. dralii with the lead and the ball, and more than enough boost to work with. He's going to go for a back wall air dribble, and I think it's wise for him to land on the ground with 60 boost like he does, but ultimately still loses the possession. Moxy is just going to go quickly. dralii makes a save and booms the ball out to the midfield. He should be able to touch this on target and end the game. dralii will take it in Game 5 against Moxy to open the road to 100,000 subscriber Invitational.